Hello, welcome to the Elone Show. I'm your host, John Maloney. In this episode, we don't have guests because we already got back from the you-know-what, from the space-time continuum. So, as for our guest, he is from Japan, he's currently in Guatemala, he runs a creative design agency. I'm going to love this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kazuki Iwaki.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to this podcast. My name is Kazuki. I'm a co-founder for one of the creative agency called Markester. We focus heavily on the UX UI websites as well as the brandings and social media contents to help companies with elevate their branding strategies and really help them scale their business with a cost-effective in-house design team. So yeah, I'm super excited. As you mentioned, that I'm originally from Japan. I was born and raised there, and I moved to New Zealand when I was 13. And now I actually live in Guatemala, happily married with my Guatemalan wife. And yeah, super excited to be here. Thank you for inviting.
You're welcome. And in terms of your creative design agency, what what kind of creative design does your agency work on exactly?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So, in terms of our creative design agencies, I know it sounds very broad at the beginning, but it's actually not that broad. So, one of the things that we focus on is heavily, number one, website design. So, a lot of the companies go through a stage of a time when they have fantastic websites, but as the time evolves, like you forget to update your new websites into a modern age. So we come in, we basically help you with a redesign of the whole websites, and we not only just help you with the redesign, but we also help you develop a website using a one of the modern tools like Webflow, Framer. They are no code tools, fantastic tools to really help our customers to get the best out of those new tools, to get the best out of their designs and the website. So we help them with not only the websites, but we also help with UX UI. We had a fortunate to kind of work with a couple of other startups, like a tech startups, to work on a mobile application designs to really help with the launch for their MVP products. So that's what we specialize as a creative design agency. And a lot of the people would probably question us, creative design agency as really expensive, as well as, it's more very project based, but we are a little bit of a twist. So to kind of give you more context, what we do specifically is that we offer a subscription-based model so that you can get access to our designers from UX, website, as well as branding, the packagings, to the social media templates, all the designers that you need, so that in a such a flat rate fees of a subscriptions to get the best out of it. So that's what we do as a creative design agency.
Wow, impressive. And what inspired you to establish your own creative design agency?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. Yeah, I mean, like when we started this creative design journey, just to kind of give you a little bit of background story about myself and also my partner, who is in my for my business. Back in 2022, it was around, I think it was September, we were actually impacted by layoffs. I specifically got impacted by one of the layoffs that happened with the tech startup that I was working at the time. And during those time, I was in a pivotal moment from moving from Toronto to Guatemala to see my wife, and that's how I happened to kind of move to Guatemala. Is where I am right now. And quite frankly, as I got laid off, I needed a new gig to kind of get started on, something to kind of put a food on the table, as well as do something for yourself, to actually build something that it can be lasting for yourself. And then so that's one of the biggest reasons that kind of got into the field of website designs and website development. So I started my own gig using Webflow, as also the web design using Figma, and that's how I kind of started the journey as an entrepreneur. And quite interestingly, at the time, my current business partner reached out and then said, "Hey, look, we're looking to do a social media agency as well a creative design agency." So we said, "Hey, look, why don't we merge our business together and see what we can do to achieve together?" And then that's how kind of fast forward to now, this is how we started our creative design agency. And obviously, there was a lot of roller coaster ride. And as you can see on a startup's perspective, there's always a pivoting moment in every section of their business. So we basically, what we did is, validated our key findings, validated our key learning lessons from the services and the problems that we saw from the clients, and then we tried to give values by kind of adapting to it. So that's one of the biggest reasons why kind of turned into a creative design agency, but a little bit with a twist.
I love it. Fabulous. So as of now, are you planning on doing any more projects or plan on traveling to other places across the globe anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, we're always open to, traveling. That's definitely for, one of the things that we love to put in the bucket list as well. Obviously, like, our clients are based from, pretty much all around the world. We mainly have clients from US as a primary focus, but we actually have clients from APAC, a couple of startups from Vietnam. Quite frankly, we were able to kind of work with them on the UX UIs and also the localizations. We also have some clients from Latin America as well. So, we try to be more flexible. We try not to focus on like one certain country, but we're trying to kind of adapt to different cultures. We love to kind of travel as well. I myself used to live in 5 different countries previously to my marriage. So, it's really exciting to have that open mindset of, getting out of the comfort zone, trying to live in places that, you never really wished, that you never really dreamed of, and, try to get that life of where, experiencing life that, what the world got to offer.
All right, fabulous. So besides the many things you've mentioned about what your creative design agency does, are there any more aspects that you plan on touching into in the next few months or years or so?
Yeah, just to kind of I'm trying to understand your question. Like, do you mean like objectives, or like what we were trying to aim to kind of like provide the services in the upcoming future?
Yeah, like, so you mentioned you've worked on websites, applications, etc. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you. I'm
Oh,
just
sorry.
waiting for you to finish.
Sorry. So I was saying is the question I was asking is that beyond your works with helping people design websites and applications, the question was,
Yeah.
are there any more creative aspects or services you plan on providing in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's, I think that's like pretty much same for everybody else. And obviously, when it comes to business models, like, you always have to adapt, right? As a phase one for us, like, what we're trying to aim is to try to solve problems for the clients. So for us, like, having the service model, providing website designs, UX, UI, the brandings, as well as the packaging designs and everything and whatnot, that's the primary focus of our one single line of the business. But as we kind of branch out, what we're trying to aim here is also to kind of launch our courses to help other creators to understand how they can harness the modern technologies and for example, AI and everything in between, to kind of help with their design works, as well as eliminate those cost hustle of getting things done to get their business scale. So that's what we really want in a long-term perspective. Like, we really focus on how we can provide values to our clients by not only just offering subscription models to kind of help them with the current existing problems, but to kind of also give them back by giving additional values, such as like coachings, down with you model, or the programs where we can help them scale, either, for example, personal brandings or their, corporate brands as well. Through media buyings and everything in between. So we do have a couple of plans in place, but as I kind of mentioned before, like, we're a startup. We're hungry for success. We are hungry to help people and everything in between. So it's really the main focus is to kind of perfecting the business model, so we can create a system where we can replicate and grow and scale around the world.
Fantastic. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would that be?
Where would that be? To be honest, like I don't know if I have the 100% concrete answers for you, but especially because for me, there's a very difficult question to answer. And one of the reason is, as I mentioned before, I used to live in multiple countries, and I actually left in Japan when I was 13 to live in New Zealand, and I lived there for about 8 years, and then I moved to Tokyo again for 2 years, and I moved to Boston, Chicago, and Toronto, and now here in Guatemala. So it's completely different to what other people would say. Like, I wish I could live in the United States, or I wish I could live in UK, or all the other places in the world. Especially for me, like living and traveling has been a really completely different. And as a third culture kid, for me, like the if there was one place I could go and where I'm in this world, I would just definitely be like the people. And I think that I don't know if that answers your question, but the people that brings out a lot of communities and people that you can feel you're connected with, and then that's a place that I would definitely call like more of like a place where I would love to go in the world. And I guess Guatemala so far has been the one of the places I found alongside with New Zealand. So that's why I guess yeah, that's my kind of my answers to your questions.
Okay then, sounds good. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation whatsoever?
On topic of a business or?
Well, any topics that you can consistently talk about for 40 minutes.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are several things, I guess, but it just depends on which criterias. But in terms of the business, like obviously, I can give you a whole bunch of presentations on, what we do as a business, what we thrive, our missions, what we're trying to do, and how we, trying to disrupt this. What we call the design, agency as well. But at the same time, like I'm also passionate about AI and how I'm actually doing a little bit of experiments on personal branding using Twitter and ChatGPT. Actually, I'm basically training the ChatGPT to act as my social media agent and trying to help me grow my accounts from 0 to 10K as a scratch. And it's actually quite an interesting journey because, not only gives me the instructions what to do, but actually I'm training the algorithms within the ChatGPT to learn from the statistics from the Twitter data that we have, all the interactions, engagements, the contents that you post, as well as the messagings that we put out too. I'm feeding that into ChatGPT and also using influencers, contents, ideas, the scripts, the copywriting skills. I'm feeding all that into ChatGPT to kind of create what's called the Twitter GPT. So obviously that's something that I can also brag about for like 40 minutes. It's really amazing. If you're something interested, especially on a personal branding, and you want to grow, like I'm all. So feel free to reach out, and I'm more than happy to kind of clarify how I did it, how I'm doing it, so you can kind of keep updated on the things of the progress. But that's exactly what I do on a personal branding side of it. And obviously, I'm also training the ChatGPT to kind of adapt to its own capabilities, so it helps with the design work that we're doing for creative design agencies. And obviously, like other tools like Midjourney, there's also cool stuff that AI can do in order to create a better, beautiful design. So what we're really trying to do is like adopting the emerging tech to get the most out of what we can do.
Wow, those are really great topics, really.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So before starting your creative design agency, was there anything else you wanted to do before that?
Yeah, I mean, that's actually quite good follow-up questions, to be honest, because to be honest, like it was out of the blue. When I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, always wanted to kind of start my own gig, and like trying to kind of invest it in myself. And that was always has been my passion, as well as what I was always kind of aiming for in the future. And I didn't see myself kind of working for other people and for the rest of my life, thinking that's my purpose. And quite frankly, when I got laid off, I knew what the market was going, especially in the United States and Canada when I was there back in last year, and I started to kind of looking for new jobs, trying to see what I can do. And I was really skeptical about starting my own business at the time because it's just too much risk to take in. So I was really afraid, like anybody would be. Um, I tried to do my best to fool myself that I need to find a job. But it was really that pivotal moment when my wife told me that, hey, look, I don't want to see you kind of suffering to find jobs. So maybe, it's time for you to actually invest in yourself and do something for yourself. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I started my own businesses and trying to find what resonated with me the most when it comes to starting business online. And I think that was probably the best decision I ever made. And we also have a podcast as well. And we're very fortunate that we were able to kind of interview awesome founders from different countries as well as different places around the US. Doing incredible stuff and being able to learn from them as well is something that we didn't kind of expected. So I mean, with that said, like obviously, like starting a business is it's literally a leap of faith. So it's whether if you're not sure about it, or whether if you want to do it in the future, or whatever that may be for you, like if you feel that it's time, or if the circumstances is telling you it's time, it's probably is. So it's up to you to take the risk or you don't.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
What has been the
Yeah.
longest trip you have ever? Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Go
was gonna
ahead.
ask. So I was gonna ask you, what has been the longest trip you have ever taken?
In terms of the traveling, or what do you mean by the
Like,
durations?
what has been the farthest distance you ever traveled?
Uh, okay, that's a little bit of a vague question to answer, but I guess for me, I guess like a traveling is definitely the one of them. So moving from Japan to all the way to Guatemala is like super far distance, obviously. If that answers your questions.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. Japan and Guatemala are like very far away across the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, it's pretty much half around the world, really. Traveling across the sea, the Pacific Oceans, and you also have the US as well, and all the way down to South America. So, well, not South America, but in Central America. So, it's quite far compared to traveling from UK to New York, or LA to Tokyo.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Where do I see myself in 20 years from now? Definitely definitely a successful entrepreneur. And I think I'll be father of certain kids, I guess, I hope. And probably have a few places to be, and then going traveling around. But obviously, in terms of the business side of it, definitely having successful 2 ventures would be really cool. And that's what I want to continue to kind of not only inspire people, but will have to continue to support and provide help for the people that they need. And obviously, one of the things that I love to do is apply my lessons of building businesses and really help other people to do the same. And then that's exactly what we love to do, and hopefully I'll be doing in next week.
I love it. That's great.
Thank you.
Welcome. Which subjects do you think they should teach in high school, essentially?
Essentially, well, it's a little bit of pivot from the previous question, but like I kind of more of a I think some people may tell me I'm original on this, but I think educational industry is really corrupted right now. Obviously, not because the society tells you to go to high school or university or whatnot, but right now, as you can see in an internet, like there's so many resources available for free, and that's one of the beauty things about internet, right? if you don't understand or if you don't know something, you just Google it up and you'll have answers. Or you can just learn it from YouTube. Even there are gurus out there teaching things. So like I would say like we need to fix the high school educational system as well as university, to think about like what is actually like beneficial for the people to live in long runs. So for example, like teaching people how to manage taxes, or teaching people how to invest, that they actually can have a return on investment. I was actually listening to Alex Hormozi's podcast the other day, and he was right. Like if a daughter decided not to go to the university but decided to work for, like, say a part-time or something to kind of save up their money, they can technically invest into like fraction of $10 into S&P 500, and maybe within 1 year you just earn like another $20 as an example. And I know it's kind of I'm not giving you the specific numbers of it, but just to kind of give you an example. So like I will ask myself, as well as the audiences who's listening to this, is like, why do you need educations? And like, does that education actually going to help you with the life that you're going to have, especially when you have kids or families? Like, how does that going to impact your daily living? Like, I think it's one of the things that I think high-end education has to learn from, especially you can learn that from YouTube and everything for free these days. You don't really have to go to university to be smart. Like, some people go to university in Ivy League and come back with a high debt, and those who didn't go might have gone probably way far ahead of you. So it depends what you want to invest into, depends what you want to learn. And obviously, if you want to be like doctors, pharmaceuticals type of careers, or specific to their objective, and that's perfect. But if you're looking for just like a business type of things, like I would question the educational system that is currently available in the market right now.
Okay, that's actually that's very useful for a lot of people, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Would you rather never age physically or never age mentally?
I would say never age mentally. Forever young is probably like great model to have, but obviously, age comes with wisdom. So it's a kind of like a trade-off, really. But it's always good to have a mind of a younger mindset, just to keep in loop with what's going on in life as well as the world. Obviously, things change, so you should do so. I think it's really important to have mixture of both.
Fabulous. What is your favorite season?
What is my favorite season? Say summer, or between spring and summer. But it really depends on where you live in the country as well. But like, for example, Guatemala, we don't really get snow or winter or spring. So depends as well. But like, for example, if I was living in Japan, I could definitely love between spring and summer. It's not too hot. You're in the middle of nice heat. You see sakura, like the cherry blossoms, and it's really nice. So I would say that.
Yeah, I agree. What is the one thing you can't live without?
One thing I cannot live without. Wow. Like, I sound very weird saying to myself, especially I'm Japanese, and I'm seeing so many people on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the gurus. And I think I know for sure that a lot of Japanese people haven't really mentioned this, but I think definitely Ikigai is something that I really lived in a motto of. And obviously, like, within that Ikigai, like, I have my my beloved wife, and also work, and also the families, relatives as well. So like those, like, I hold dearly, as I guess that could that brings into the harmony of what it means to have an Ikigai. And I know, like, a lot of the gurus probably like telling, like, that's like that's how you find purposes. And as a Japanese person coming from it, like, it's a core fundamentals of living. It's like practices that we have to apply in terms of the beliefs that you have, right? And it's kind of tied towards like faith almost. You have to have faith. You have to have the belief. You have to have that strong heart in order to get to certain place, or to get what you want, or to get what you need to in order to accomplish something. So I think that's what I hold the most dearest, I guess.
Okay then, sounds good. And which recent news story have you looked up recently?
Rich recent news. Definitely the recession in the US. There are a lot of topics around that, and I think it's really important to know what is going on in the world and how does that impact your life in general, regardless of where you live, regardless of where where you live in the world. I think it's really important to understand the pros and cons of what one country can affect. So that's what I'm keeping up. Just kind of make sure we make the rational decisions as possible.
Oh yeah, I certainly agree. I've never realized how many countries have been so reliant on the US for so long, and now it's all coming back to bite them in the back.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. Like, I think the US has been the predominant of everything, and then now we understand the problems, the shortage of US dollars, and I guess like people used to believe in things of American dream, and I think that is kind of a little bit delusional now to think that that was just a fake in the first beginning.
Yeah, when one era ends, a new one starts.
Exactly.
Oh yes. And that is all we have for this episode. It was great having here Kazuki, talking about your works as running your creative agency, the works you've done, and traveling around the world, and a lot of things. It's been fabulous.
Thank you for hosting me.
You're welcome. And until next time, stay tuned for more.